The chop shop, we live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, we live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the chop shop. Yeah, it's lit in the chop shop. Turn your dials up in the drop top. They ain't based to debate, but they keep it fact straight. Going 30 for 30, let's do a first take. On Facebook Live from 12 to 2. Rob Hatter and Jim Hicks going back and forth like Carter Ray, Skip Bayless and Stephen Smith. From on the court, off the court, straight to the field. Not a man that steals, but I made it steal. To the octagon where I fight to kill. We go face to face, then you write your will. I don't play tennis, but I bring the racket. I'm on the floor, I attack the basket. Put you in the casket when I'm overlapping. Never showing mercy, cause I'm always snapping. Never showing mercy when I'm in the arena. Step into the ring, he hit me as I beat him. Step into the court, I'm never backing down. Killing competition, I'm smacking down. Let me get back to the other stuff at the chop shop, cause they cutting up. It's retro, coming to you live to the chop shop. Now let's turn it up. Yeah, we in the chop shop, man. Shout out to Jim Hicks and Rob Hatter. You can catch the chop shop live from 12 to 2 on Facebook Live. Let's get it. We in the chop shop, we live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, we live in the chop shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the chop shop. We in the chop shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the chop shop.
H-Town, what's up? You know what time it is. It's time for the best 120 minutes of your day. The Chop Shop, the nation's #1 urban sports talk show, and also your midday sports happy hour. Yours truly, Robert Hatter, alongside Jim Hicks, coming to you live from Houston, Texas. But we're broadcasting all over the world via Facebook Live and YouTube Live. I mean, it's great things simultaneous at the same time. And it's a great, great day, a beautiful day in Houston. The storm came through, and that mighty hand moved that storm to the right and away from Houston. And man, I'm looking outside. Everybody, blessed enough, I did not get a drop of rain. And thank you so much. But this morning, y'all, after a day unlike any other day in the history of sports. First of all, before I go there, I want to shout out to our first five today. Rod Wells, Martin Bond, Tyandra Holmes, Chris Charles, and Derek Johnson. Those people there I just mentioned are affectionately called the starting five. They are the first 5 people to sign up on the Facebook feed and the YouTube feed. So I had to get them in. Shout out to the people. Hey, Crystal. Hey, everybody. But the morning after the day, unlike any other day in sports history, NBA players demanding change in our nation, putting their season and their sport at the very center of the discussion about racism and equality in America. By the end of this show today, by the end of the show yesterday, by the end of the evening yesterday, by the end of the day yesterday, we saw strikes, and notice I didn't say boycott, I said strikes in the WNBA, the baseball, soccer, and tennis. Where does this all lead today is the question. Where did this stuff lead today? I thought about some. There was once a point where we thought that the coronavirus was the only thing that can shut down the NBA bubble. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe we're a little naive. Maybe we're wearing blinders, and maybe we're simply ignoring the reality of what is going on in this world. No matter what, the NBA shut down their games yesterday, and as we know, today's triple header on ESPN it's in serious peril too. You know, I got some information just popped on the screen that they said they would resume it, but I can't. That's just CBS Sports just popped up, said the NBA will resume. But I just thought about it, everybody out there. Yes, Naomi Osaka in tennis. Yes, we're gonna talk about her later. But I thought about something, man. The NBA has crowned a champion for 73 straight years. This is the 74th year of the league, and this might be the first time there might be a blank next to the Larry O'Brien trophy. That's how historic what happened yesterday when we got off this air. I asked the question several times, do you think that these players would strike? Nobody thought this. Nobody thought that these players would strike. Even the team that they were playing, they didn't know. Unique situation. I mean, it's just a unique situation. I never seen nothing like it. I know nobody ever seen nothing like it. And I just really like to hear y'all's opinion of what do you think? Where do we go from here? Now I like y'all yesterday, you should strike. You should strike. And I'll never forget, I made a statement. I said, why it always have to be on the players? Why it have to always be on the players? And I'm going to come back later. Remember, I'm going to put a footnote there because I'm going to let Jimmy get in here. But why it always have to be on the players to strike? And I got something that I made a statement yesterday. I said, well, why don't y'all leave y'all jobs? Why don't y'all just walk off of Apple? Why don't, and this guy, Jimmy said, well, that's not possible. But guess what? I'm not the only one that thought that way. Jimmy, come up in the screen a little bit and center yourself in the screen. I wasn't the only one thought like that. Why the onus just goes on the players? Why not everybody else? And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I'm gonna get back to that one. But Jimmy, what you got? What you got today?
Well, on yesterday on the strikes, we do know that the element of surprise often opens eyes, and that's in battle, and it was a battle that was brewing, and a lot of people did not take the dog cry, the dog whistle that was sent out by Van Fleet in his interview. But then I think it was punctuated after hearing Doc Rivers, and over the next 24 hours. Plus, remember, not only that, it was punctuated after the video of the young 17-year-old and his actions upon killing the two people and walking right by the police officer after they had willingly just embraced him and his allies with bottles of water after the curfew had been in effect. And so that combined with the series of events over those 24 hours on the heels of the shooting, I think it took a lot of people in the space. Then you look back, Paul George, you got to put him in the equation, because Paul George, I really up on just soaking it in, and I went back and and read and watched his interview again, and you can feel Paul George really was in a place. Understand, in basketball, sometimes on the street, if you're in the park, you say, man, suck up. I don't hear that mess. But then, and then Charles Barkley went after Paul George. And I think maybe it's a chance, because it unfortunately went after him about like, man, you're a millionaire. You have all this stuff at your fingertips, golfing and fishing and playing all this and doing all this stuff in the bubble. But I'm thinking that what Paul George what it felt like he meant to watching over is that you're depressed because you're not able to perform your job, because you're not able to concentrate. You're not able to give your undivided and give your soul into what you're trying to do. And I'm coming from that angle of the room, looking at a lot of these guys. And several of them have said it, even when you think about, you look at George Hill and you think about his comments, man, I don't know why he was here. Well, he's coming from the concentrating part. A lot of the guys you want them pro athletes to perform at an epic level, to be able to perform their tasks, their jobs. And with what's going on out in the community, a lot of them aren't able to be focused to give you the product or give you the type of output per minute that you would expect from them as you watch as a fan. So I understand sometimes from that angle, if that's an angle, that's the truth. Now, as far as the yesterday's decisions, it rolled on over. Of course, Milwaukee Bucks caught Orlando by goal, and then everybody would later learn that Milwaukee did not make the decision until they were in the locker room. It was not premeditated that they were going to do that. Milwaukee Bucks made the decision when they arrived to the gym, because some of them had came and did a brief shoot around. Milwaukee made the decision in the locker room. So they caught a lot of people off guard. And you see Sterling Brown, you see George Hill spearheaded the movement. You watched on the press, on the announcement, they read their synchronized release. Well, Greek Freak stood back. Even he was in support. Everybody's there in support as a team, but he wasn't on the front of those two. As people would thought with Greek Freak, that means that wasn't Greek Freak's. He wasn't the primary influencer with that team. He wasn't the primary influence. I say he wasn't the primary. He was a key and pivotal piece of influence because you had to get him on board. You have to get him on board. But Greek Freak ain't from this country like that. So Greek Freak, you know what I'm saying? He just getting over, he had some problems with the country he come from. And you watch the documentary and the expose on him a couple of years ago, well, a year or so ago. So back to this. So this caught them off guard. And that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way because they were like, wait, we weren't supposed to do this like this. We had a plan on how we were going to do this. We meaning the NBA players, because they had met from Toronto and the Celtics and other players had met. Chris Paul had came and met with them the other night as well, and a couple other players. So they thought they had a tactical way. Milwaukee then said, "Wait, look, we can't let these guys beat us, and we're from Milwaukee, we're from Wisconsin, we're representing Wisconsin. We have to do something." So that's kind of like how that spiraled. And so now they had a meeting. And in this meeting this morning, right? In the meeting this morning, well, understand this. Even on yesterday before the meeting, there were two teams that opted that they did not want to play. And two teams that said that voiced it was strong. And one is known as LeBron James and the Lakers is not interested in continuing playing in the bubble. The Los Angeles Clippers is the other team, not interested in playing in the bubble as a team collectively. Remember, the Clippers actually had to take a vote before coming. Lou Will was one of the guys that was spearheading that movement, was Lou Will. Lou Will did not want to be there from day one. Right? Now, LeBron wanted to be there. But you had some other players on that team, which obviously Avery Bradley was one that didn't want to come and he stayed home. You had Dwight Howard was spearheading, a couple other players that were straddling that went on and took one for the team. And so now the Lakers and the Clippers, they had the meeting this morning and the players voted shortly a couple of hours ago. And guess what? They voted to continue playing in the bubble. However, my intel said the Lakers and Clippers still are pissed off and don't want to play. So there's going to be two meetings that's going on this afternoon. One between with the Lakers and the Clippers. Maybe they have a couple hours of cool off. They're going to meet in a couple of hours to try to, to just get on board, because there are things, they have to sort out. They want to, either you're going to get on board or you're going to, because the Lakers and Clippers don't play, then now, they're going to become public enemy number one now, because these other teams and these other cities, everybody on the emotional ride and say, yeah, we're going to play. Everybody rejoicing around the country. And then you come back and have to report. If they don't play, then some other teams may not want to play. Now, also, each team is supposed each team is supposed to. Jimmy, okay, we go up against the break.
Yeah, you're up against the break. Yeah, up against the break. We'll come back in a minute. Chop. We'll be back in a minute.
For me, yesterday, I was sitting there and I started crying. And my wife walks in, she's like, "Are you crying because you turned 50 today?" And I started laughing, like, no. I said, "Did you see the video of this guy getting shot?" And first, I saw it, I'm looking at it, I thought, well, maybe they're going to tase him, right? Because that's what they do with white people. They tase them. And so I didn't have the volume up. And then Christian walks in the room. He says, "No, Dad, they shot him." So I play it again. I'm like, wow. They shoot this guy 7 times in the back. And then I have this conversation with Christian. And he's like, that's wrong. I said, yo, it is beyond wrong. It's just flat out evil. And I'm telling him, and it's hard to tell your 14-year-old son that I worry about him when he walks out that door. I have a 21-year-old son. I worry about him because black men are endangered species, pretty much. These cops are just killing because they feel like if they don't have their body cams on, they have a right. And I tell my kids all the time, I said, dude, I don't care what's going on, because at the end of the day, I want you coming home to me. If you have to lay down on the ground and they can kick you, beat you, at least you're gonna go to the hospital and you're gonna come home to me. Whatever they say to you, don't take it upon yourself to let that rage you have against that cop come out, because he has the gun. He can end you. And I don't want him to end you, because if he ends you, that means I'm going to end him. And I know that's wrong for me to say, but I'm so much a time to kill type of guy, like Samuel Jackson, and this is going to happen with me. And I said, I don't want that to happen. I already lost one child. I don't need to lose another. And I don't think people understand, especially white people, how hard it is for black people to watch that.
Welcome back to the best 120 minutes of your day. The Chop Shop, the nation's #1 urban sports talk show, and also your midday sports happy hour. Yours truly, Robert Hatter, alongside Jim Hicks. That video I just played was from every time I hear it, I get chills through my spine, because not just a guy that's on TV saying this. This is a guy that I was blessed enough to represent and be around him. His family lived in LA with him. And it's just very, very, seeing him talk about that, because I got a son and that lives in a whole nother city. And we have to have these talks, daily. I mean, whenever we talk on the phone, man, are you being careful? You in a situation where you at is not too many that look like you are around, and we have to constantly stay up on topic. So I empathized him. I felt every word that came out of his mouth, and it made me look at some stuff, the courage. I saw the WNBA organizing and what they did yesterday. They had shirts made up with Jacob Blake's one of his initials on the front, and on the back of the shirt, 7 bullet holes. You had Kenny Smith, another friend of mine, but knowing him almost 30 years. He doing something unprecedented, walked off a live set at TNT and said, "What I'll have to deal with whatever happens about it. I have to deal with it." It's just unique, man. It's just there has never been, ladies and gentlemen, a professional sports team prior to yesterday. There has never been a sports team that ever refused to play a game due to social justice. I'm talking about the 60s with Bill Russell, and I went back in the 60s and found something for you. It's one caveat. In 1961, the Celtics and Bill Russell was part of they skipped an exhibition game in Lexington, Kentucky, because they were not served food at a particular restaurant. They wouldn't serve the black players due to segregation. So later that night, 7 other guys played. The black players didn't play, but 7 other guys played. That was the only 1961. Look it up. You might check out a little bit more about it. Then I looked at the notable events that were postponed yesterday. All the NBA games, 3 Major League Baseball games, Cincinnati and Milwaukee, Seattle and San Diego, LA Dodgers and San Francisco. Mookie Betts led the charge for the Dodgers. Yes, that Mookie Betts that I talk about all the time. All 3 WNBA teams, all Major League Soccer games except the Orlando City Nashville game and the Western and Southern Open, the tennis tournament that I mentioned with Naomi Osaka leading the charge. But I saw some yesterday. They had a report that John Lucas had a powerful speech during that meeting, and he told the players today was historic. He said, but don't F it up. He said, get the people down here and give them your initiatives. Adam Silver, get the owners, the politicians, etc. It's and that's what and I know people we love the strike, and we love everybody rah-rah and talking about the players had to do this, and I see and guess what? I liked it too. But I saw something yesterday. I never Latrice, I mentioned something yesterday, and it sounded a little far-fetched because all I said was, we demanding this of these players. What are we demanding of ourselves? Because if it's a movement, it requires all of them to make sacrifice. So I just I didn't know somebody else was thinking like this. I just said, well, why don't everybody walk off their jobs then? Why don't everybody, if it's that bad, why don't all the black people, all the people walk off their jobs? If it's that bad, and I thought about it, and people, I think y'all said, well, that's far-fetched, So Draymond Green, somebody sent this to me because they saw what I said on the show yesterday. But why can sports wait? He said, because it's a sport. He said, sports is a business too, like the many other businesses in this world. Why is it that sports can wait and a strike, not other businesses should not? Why not? If that is the case, why shouldn't the CEO of YouTube boycott Alphabet? Or the president of Apple, who I mentioned yesterday, boycott the company? But you said basketball can wait. Is it because sports, the platform, has afforded the athletes involved huge platforms? Or maybe the athletes involved, past and present, actually afforded sports these platforms that many athletes currently have today? That's neither here or there, he says. It's Draymond Green. The notion that athletes should just stop working, but no one else in the world should stop, is baffling to me. Why stop doing the very thing others that others on your biggest platform to speak for those like you and I. He just said, why us? And I didn't know he was going, he just wrote this I didn't know he was going to write this. I was just thinking, I guess, outside the box. We expecting something out of them because what? They make a lot of money. Amen. Hey, man. Anthony Bourdain. It's a millionaire. They got paid to fly around the country, Robert Young, to fly around the world, Robert Young, just try new stuff out. They pay him to do that. I would think that was a great life. Something else was wrong in his life. He killed himself. So just because you got money and position, don't think everything is okay in your life. So, but all this guy was saying is, athletes, why athletes? Why you gonna leave? Let me tell you something. George Hill can leave that bubble and y'all won't think about, if George Hill was to go on Twitter or go on y'all won't think about nothing he said. Shannon Brown, none of them. The reason they have this platform is they can speak from there. If you want to help from there, and listen, I'm glad. I don't tweet much, but I did not think these guys had the nerve to do it. I know the guys who talked about it, Toronto, they didn't have a chance to do it. These guys beat them to the punch. So these guys actually went in this dressing room and said, I'm not going to play. And I loved it. I loved it. But now, when LeBron and them went to that meeting, I heard from a player said a lot of the players were blindsided. They didn't know. So if it's something that's involving us, because we got to be a collective on this, and I got a question for y'all, and I said this earlier. If me and Keiko Grace are Crystal Wicks, Crystal, you and I are partners in a business. You thought me and you said, Crystal told you, Crystal, you said, Robert Hatter, I want 50% of this, the revenue in this business. I want, and I guess what I said? Okay, I'm giving you 50% of this revenue. But Keiko and Crystal, we're partners now. So if Crystal, I'm not talking about the basketball. Crystal, if we're partners and you go off and just do something that might damage the whole partnership, shouldn't I have a problem with you? And guess what? The teams, they might have problems silent, but the teams have a committed solidarity with the players. But I know of an owner and a GM that said, Robert, we're partners in this thing, man. Maybe we need to do more. What do we need to do? Come to us. What do we need to do? And Harry Edwards laid out a great plan this morning. And that's what, and Kendrick Perkins, I mean, he's getting better and better. I know a lot of people don't like him. I'm sitting here. I got a rule, ladies and gentlemen. I never watch the morning talk shows before the show because I don't want my opinion skewed. But this particular morning, I wanted to hear what these guys said. And all I'm saying is it's a partnership with the NBA. Now let's figure out how we can salvage this partnership. If you want, I mean, and let me tell you something. It didn't woke them owners up. Of course it did. That's why I'm glad they did it. But now you got my attention. What you want from me? Let's get it done. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. If you're a partner in something, we revenue sharing 50%, and you go off and do something like that, I'm gonna have a problem with you. I would. You know, I would have a problem with you. But hey, I'm like I said, all I'm trying to, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? That's what I'd like to ask. Even y'all, since y'all wanted to get them to strike, they should strike. Okay, now what? Now what? Now what should they be doing, Anthony Weston? Now, what should the players be doing right now? Since you have advice on everything else, and whatever you send me, if it worth some, I'll make sure it get to the players. How about that? Anthony Weston, since you always have comments, do me a favor, put something up there that's concrete. I'll copy and paste it and send it to a player in the NBA. So guess what? Now, you have no more excuses. So what else you got, Jimmy? You said you wanted to talk about something when you got back. When we got back.
I mentioned to you guys last segment that there was two additional meetings that would take place this afternoon. One of the meetings, every team is going to have, that's remaining in the bubble, will have 2 representatives from those 2 teams that are going to meet with the owners. And there's another meeting between those 2 teams that, even though, understand, the vote was majority that the players had early this morning, 11 o'clock Eastern time in their meeting. That was an official vote. The majority wins. Well, they voted. The majority said they could vote it to continue to play. But there was 2 teams of majority of those players on those teams. Now, I don't mean every single player on the team. I'm not able to confirm that, which I doubt it. But 2 teams, the Los Angeles Lakers and the Los Angeles Clippers, did not want to play, were not in favor of returning before the meeting this morning. And after, obviously, they were outvoted, they are having a meeting amongst themselves this afternoon to, I guess, to sort it out. To either they're going to come on with and go with the flow, because guess what? They had a vote. You lost the vote. So that's kind of like that's how it should go. You don't break off now, but if they decided to break off, and if the Lakers and Clippers decided, man, you know what, we're packing up, man, we're not gonna play. First of all, only 4 teams are left on the Western Conference side. So they're gonna pull out, and I've already confirmed with the Houston Rockets, they say they don't have no choice. They got to go and support it. They say now, if the Clippers want to pull out, they still gonna play. But if Bron pull out, they gotta go with that. That's quote unquote coming out in the Rockets.
Say that again. Say that again.
If Lou Will don't want to play, that ain't moving neither. But if Bron decides he's not playing, then the Rockets are not going to play.
So the Rockets gonna follow whatever LeBron does.
Now remember, I'm gonna take you back to a comment. And this didn't come from today. This come from back a couple of weeks ago. Remember, Pat Beverly made a statement, that kind of coincided with that, and they were asking what they want to do, and Pat Beverly's like, man, if LeBron going, if Bron want to play, we got to play. Patrick Beverly, that came out of his mouth in an interview a couple of weeks ago. Well, about a month or so ago, before going into the bubble. They were asked, remember, because the Clippers were undecided, and certain teams had committed before others. So if you think back on it, yes, Bron has that much influence. But at this point, people that went into the bubble. Remember, at that time, Bron was one of the ringleaders of wanting to go and play. So Bron has switched stances. So they're like, man, hold on. You wanted me to go play here. Now you want us to not play no more? So kind of like that's where a lot of the space that some people may find themselves in.
I done heard you talk about LeBron and Lou Will, and not one time have you mentioned Chris Paul. What did your information say about Chris Paul today?
Well, I didn't ask about Chris Paul today.
It's a very important
but
piece.
I do know.
Very important piece.
No. Because remember now.
He got LeBron James' ear.
How the intel that I got was this morning, right? I got this morning before the meeting was at 11 o'clock.
No, I just said Chris Paul has LeBron James' ear.
Yeah. Chris Paul is over the players union.
He also his best friend, one of his best friends. He got his ear.
He got his ear and has
Yeah.
influence, absolutely.
Yeah.
But at the same, I'm just telling you about if Chris Paul right now, obviously, Chris Paul had to go and insert himself and emerge and say, okay, to get law and order amongst the player, because it was creating a rift from yesterday, on going into this meeting. Remember, yesterday, last night, they had the de facto meeting last night when they invited 3 coaches in, and they invited the coaches in, and 2 coaches from the Clippers.
Jimmy, could you
and
explain the fact it was a very emotional meeting? Okay,
Yeah.
last night was a very emotional filled meeting. We have to that's when everybody is in their feelings last night. This came from a player. Everybody was in their feelings last night. And anytime you're making emotional decisions, I looked up 2016. I'm going through my notes. If anybody know me, I am a note taker. Like Jimmy said, he's a stat man. I'm always taking notes, even if I'm talking in casual conversations. But I gave a note to my son in 2016 about not making emotional decisions. I looked it up. I just pushed emotional decisions in my notes, and I taught him that in 2016. Because guess what? He was making up there, my coach leave, I'm leaving. My coach leaving, I'm leaving. They fired my coach. Shut up. Slow down and go and sleep on it, and let's make a business decision. And that's what happened last night. Jimmy, it was emotionally packed in there. So that's why they said,
Yeah.
hey, hold on.
And
up to about in the wee hours in the morning, and I want you to hear what you got to say. Up in the wee hours of the morning, LeBron and the Lakers and some other top guys from around the league had a meeting outside the meeting late last night. So I just wanted to share that. I wanted to give people a frame of mind of what's going on. That's all. I just wanted to paint a picture here.
In that meeting, once again, they invited 3 coaches to speak. And those 2 coaches from the Clippers and 1 from the Houston Rockets. And each one of them spoke. And you mentioned earlier, John Lucas was one of those coaches who spoke and basically gave them some skull therapy on how to think of how they should approach and things they should be trying to narrate. And speaking of with Lucas, one of the things that Lucas explained to them is reminded them is that their experience in policy making is minimal as athletes. Their relationships with the policy makers are fractionized in comparison to their owners. So John Lucas, this coming fresh out of the meeting last night, explained to the guys he had tried to encourage them to find and establish points of action that they can immediately control right now while you got the tension. Something, and one being make your stump on making your arenas to become a polling station.
Houston Rockets did that, Jimmy. The Toyota Center is a polling station now. But keep going.
That's one of the things that he stressed to them. So make every arena around the country, because you see what's going on. A lot of states are cutting back and have voter suppression efforts in full-fledged.
Jimmy, they're not cutting back, Jimmy. It's intentional. They're not cutting back. They intentionally are voter suppressing.
Adam. What you're doing right now is you're playing on my words. People understand what the hell I'm saying. Know what I mean?
No. Some people don't. They're not cutting back. They're not cutting back.
Voter suppression efforts is nationwide, has been nationwide.
You don't have to be sensitive. I'm just trying to be clear to them. Remember, I'm not thinking about you.
Man, they hear me talk every day.
Yeah.
They know I'm not no damn English major. I'm a numbers guy. They know what the hell I'm. They know I'm not articulate. But you know what? They love the shit out of me. So they know what the hell I'm saying. I don't talk like that. They know how to talk. I'm Jimmy from the hood, and it's all good with them. You gotta sit there and display. That's like trying to tell Charles Barkley, you ain't saying that right. And people know how the hell Barkley trying to say when he talk. Barkley don't talk like that. I'm a Barkley. So let's understand. So now,
some people have problems with facts, but keep going.
They know what the hell I meant. They know what I mean. So now, what I'm saying is, what John Lucas in the meeting give them those guys to establish some points of things they can control right now, or things that can be activated right now. Meaning that get your teams to vote. Like Chris Paul got all of the OKC Thunder to vote. Get registered to vote. Stuff that you can go and empower. Go in and take it downward. So, but get whatever it is, we encourage them, get it all on paper and try to, and that way now you have a solid, unionized, collective point of action to move forward with. The owner of the Milwaukee Bucks, Mark Lazary, I initially remember I mentioned yesterday, I was like, man, Milwaukee Bucks, because that's when Van Fleet mentioned the owner of the Bucks in his speech the other night in the presser. So initially you would think, because most owners, you would think on what side of the fence they probably would be on living up there in Wisconsin, but then you go and you do a little homework. Mark Lazary is a Democrat that's very supportive of the players. Very, has long been. He's one of those owners that's like a Mark Cuban-ish type of owner. Remember, Mark Cuban has been vocal and going against the establishment vocally, and the president, for even when he was running for office, wanted to go and battle him and so they can do a one-on-one or debate. But back to this. So Lazary, that owner, if the people are in power in Milwaukee that are making most of the decisions in an election year, Mark Lazary may not have their ear, but he has the means to help the what is trying to be pushed through from the Milwaukee Bucks team. It trickled over to the Milwaukee Brewers. And now it has warmed the hearts of many. They have your attention now. And now they got the attention. What are you going to do with the attention? And that's the thing.
So why is LeBron and them striking then? Why LeBron say he don't want to play no more? What's the reason?
Look.
What's the reason? Did LeBron give a reason?
What's his reason? I didn't interview LeBron James, but I just know that LeBron did not want to play. He said, to hell. Remember, you could tell by his tweet, Heather, it was all caps. And he said, and think about it, LeBron, he does some good tweeting, but he went all caps this time.
What was the cap? What did he say?
F it.
He said,
I'm sick of it. Yeah. I mean, he went all caps with it this time. So that means
he could have been talking about he's sick of the social unrest or this. But I'm gonna show you something else that happened in the meeting. I thought Jimmy was gonna bring it up, but he didn't. Jaylen Brown, young man, about 20. I don't know how old Jaylen, 20-some years old. Young man got up in the meeting and said, "Look here, man. All you guys talking about y'all want to go home. Go home. But is it because you want to go home to see your family and your friends, or you want to go out and get in them streets and make this thing happen?" So I understand you want to go home. This is a young man telling all these guys in this room, 22 years old, going in there and telling these guys, if you want to go home, go home. And then we find out only 20% of the NBA players are registered to vote.
Exactly.
Now,
exactly. That's a problem. That's a damn problem. That's a big problem.
It came out in the meeting last night. Let's get that up, man. How the hell you gonna be out here trying to tell somebody what to do and you ain't done it?
And that's the thing when John Lucas polled them and asked and realized how many of y'all registered to vote, and they realized that it was only a fraction of the guys raised their hand up, And after John got to talking, he got he got him fired up. No, John can fire you up if you ever been in one of his camps. He can go and rah, and I mean, he's a pretty good motivator. He's pretty good at that, and he's a life coach. And so this right now, this is what a lot of those guys needed life coaching, and that's basically the capacity which John Lucas was speaking to them in. Doc Rivers is that uncle to a lot of those guys, you know. So Doc Rivers was talking from that uncle standpoint and gave him some passionate stuff. So now,
who was the other coach? Who was the other coach?
I know the name right here. There's an assistant coach from the Clippers. His name starts with a T. It's a funny name.
Okay.
Look up the Clippers assistant coach. You call it out, I can tell you. They don't have like 4 assistants. He has a funny name.
All I know is Robin and Sam. I mean, Sam. Yes, Robin and Sam. Sam and Tyrone Lue.
No, it wasn't either one of them.
That
means one of those other two. Yeah. It's one of those other two. And so now the guys, understand, their guys are there. A lot of their families are there in quarantine, and they are eligible to come out and join them on Monday. A lot of these guys haven't hugged their kids in a month, guys. So when I mentioned earlier about the ability to not be able to focus, when you're seeing stuff happening like what just happened in the streets last week, and then you're seeing guys like Robert Horry pour his heart out, as you saw in the video a few minutes ago, that stuff, even though this just happened with Robert Horry, they didn't read that before, but that type of stuff could eat you alive.
Jimmy, this kind of stuff eat me alive. It's eat me alive, but I still had to do my job.
I understand, but you won't. But understand, but your focus won't be there if focus is part of it. The mental approach is some of these young guys. They gonna do it on that.
Let me put one of them numbers in the wrong place on a contract and watch it be on ESPN. Let me put one of them and dot one of them T's and not cross one of them I's. It's gonna be on ESPN.
And know what you do at certain points of the day. If it come down to working and doing your paperwork. And that's all of us. Certain parts of the day, you're not going to you say, man, I need to cool. I can't think right now. I ain't going to mess with this right now. I'll work on this later on. So it happens to all of us. Yes. There's certain parts when I'm trying to update RCS Sports. If I'm not in the right state, I won't be able to write properly. So I can imagine that we on ground zero. And we take these guys for granted, but we want them to be prepared to be the leaders that we thrust them into being. We understand they are human beings, and many of them are youngsters. This is their first rodeo. They're fighting, and the fight is good. You know, but then they don't know.
Jimmy, we don't know, Jimmy. This ain't never happened before. The fight, you know, and all I'm thinking, you said the fight is good. Players feel, let me tell you something. Man, I'm just thinking about these players, man. I'm thinking about the NFL players. And, you know, I hear somebody just mentioned Troy Vincent. He one of the highest ranking black guys in the NFL. Former cornerback for Philadelphia, played for a few more teams. But I'm just sitting back, Jimmy, and just, let me tell you something I've learned. I believe we should use their influence. When we didn't got their attention, Jimmy. Now my message got to be meaningful, because these folks don't play around. And I would approach people that have the power to change what I'm talking about. If an NFL, and I've told y'all this over and over and over and over, if an NFL owner calls the governor of a state, Jimmy, the governor is going to pick up that phone.
Yes.
Okay.
And you know what? Pause right there before you proceed.
Okay.
And guess what happened? Guess what happened yesterday? Yesterday, the owner's brother for the Milwaukee Bucks sent out a tweet in support of the players, right? And right after he sent that tweet, guess who retweeted it and said, "Thank you, Bucks. Go Bucks, and thank you." The governor of Wisconsin. So they have a
Jim.
Now
all
go
you gotta
on.
do is think about when we got the Super Bowl. When the Super Bowl came here, I don't know if you remember when they left. We had a bill we had to clean up. The city of Houston had to foot that bill to clean up. It was a big problem because we had to foot that bill because the NFL, that's one of the things they negotiated with us that they didn't have to do that. So let me tell you something, man. I know we got to take a break, but these kind of things, and Jimmy, imagine, do you know, and I'm going to take a break after this, and y'all think about this one, that the NFL owners, Stephon Curry and Draymond Green walk into the mayor's office right now in Oakland. Don't you know he's going to allow them to come in? That's what we got to use, these influences that we have. But we're going to take a quick break because we got a special guest. Let me find my commercial right now. And guess what? Let's go. We'll be back.
We know what they do say. Tell us what they don't say.
They don't say.
They don't say you can play sports and keep a 4.0 GPA. They don't say you can go after academic scholarships. They don't say you can get your plumbing apprentice license at the age of 16. They don't say you can become a lifeguard, learn CPR, and save lives. They don't say you can become your own CEO at the age of 18. When you're on the go, Dermatized hand sanitizer spray.
No change.
Again be kutumbo. Again be kutumbo. Anibo lekelela. Isena lelenga. Anibo lelela. Isena lelenga. Animo elekelela isenganelenga animo elekelela
Left hand, right hand, yeah. Put it in the sink. Front hand, back hand, right with some soap in between, yeah.
Wash your hands, clean them up. 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 Yeah.
Left hand, right hand, put it in. Put some soap, yeah. Right hand, match it up.
Now lather.
Clean it up.
Don't dap me up,
bro. Back my hands got cleaned up. Back it up, yeah. Don't dab me up.
Yeah.
Limited daps, limited. Baby, step back. I don't want that. Limited daps. 6 feet. Baby, step back. I don't want that.
We the cleanest.
Welcome back to the Chop Shop, Midday Sports Happy Hour, the best 120 minutes of your day. It is with the top of the hour, and we'll continue the conversation later, but it's Baby Friday. Want to ask you guys, if you're on the Facebook feed, take out the time to share the show right now. We haven't asked you to share the show all day. Share the show to your timelines, to your friends. And if you're on the YouTube watching us right now, give us a thumbs up. I see you, Frank White. I see you, Melvin Dudes. Hey, man, glad to see a lot of you guys in Beaumont, man, are doing well. I hope nobody got damaged down there. A lot of our good viewers in the Beaumont Golden Triangle area, Doug Jones and his folks will be moving. But the power is out. They said estimated 500,000 people between the Louisiana and Texas border lost power. And I know that can be one hell of a thing.
Yes.
So guys, be prepared if you're going back home and going back down in that area today, and understand it's already 90 degrees outside in most of those areas. So understand it can be rough, and we're with you to fight that good fight. Also, so now it's that time we have talking a little hoops, and this time of year it was kind of funny. It's refreshing. We got a couple of guests joining us right now, and these guys are with with a familiar name and a former Houston Rocket, and that most in the city we all love because his effort and his passion, not in the community as well as on the court, cannot be unnoticed. And that is Patrick Beverly. And the Patrick Beverly camp that they do every year is not taking place this year. However, they are going to do something for those campers, for the campers from last year, this weekend in the shadows of downtown. So with us, we have, of course, we have Joe Harris and we have Doug Bibby, who was actually the coach for Patrick Beverly back in the right?
Nah. I didn't coach. I coached Rondo, but Patrick and I just became good friends. Yeah, I coached Rondo, but Patrick and I became good friends.
Yeah, yep. I'm thinking before. I remember you coached one of those guys that was playing in LA. That's what it was, Rondo. Yeah. But anyway, Doug Bibby, tell us a little bit about the camp, and you guys decided not to do it, and what are you going to do in replace of not having the camp this year in Houston?
Well, I'm gonna let Joe give y'all the specifics of where we're actually handing out the stuff with Lisa, Patrick's mom. But, with the COVID situation going on, we just wanted to provide a healthy environment for our campers, our staffers. And we tried to wait it out to see, how long we could go to see how this all materialized. And we just didn't think, between talking with me, Joe, Lisa, as well as Patrick, we didn't think that it was a safe situation to bring the kids in this summer. So basically what we said we would do is we're going to put together a swag pack. And for the individuals that actually wanted a voucher for next year, we wanted to give those kids backpacks, T-shirts, headbands, as well as do a free camp on Black Friday for those individuals. And they have a voucher next year for 2022 at the gym. But Pat said, nah, I'm going to go a little further than that. Not only am I going to give backpacks, headbands, and T-shirts to the kids that signed up for camp this year, I'm going to give it to them for back to school for the ones that actually went to the camp last year. So, Pat just keeps giving. Him and Lisa, they're big time philanthropists. And Joe, you can, Joe, let the people know exactly where y'all going to be doing this and what time.
Yeah, so we're going to thank Patrick and Lisa and Adidas. They're going to definitely sponsor for the kids for back to school. It's going to be this Saturday at Grooves. Everybody knows where Grooves is, 2300 Pierce. This Saturday at Grooves, 10 to 2. So just drive up. We'll be practicing social distancing. You don't have to get out your car. Lisa, Beverly, Patrick's mom will be spearheading that. And everybody who was at camp last year, like Vicky said, and who signed up for this year gets a back-to-school swag pack. So we want to thank Patrick and Lisa for doing that for the city of Houston. They continue to bless the community. And we had over 200 kids last year. It's one of the best camps. I think it is the best camp in Houston. So we continue to run. It's our 5th year. Coming up next year will be our 5th year. So we're excited to see everybody on Saturday. So this Saturday at Grooves, we'll be in the parking lot from 10 to 2. Everyone who registered last year and for this year as well. So you get your back to school pack. And, we know kids are going through a lot with some online and some going back, different districts doing different things. So like Bibby said, Patrick wanted to make sure that we were able to bless the kids in that manner. And, Pat's a father first before he's a basketball player. So he understands that, he's missing the kids the same way we are. So we're going to try to be out there 10 to 2. So everybody come on out. Good to see your faces. And we'll see you guys Saturday.
And once again, what ages or who's all coming out on Saturday to Groove?
So it'll be everybody. So our camp runs, we have 6 through 17 is the ages for our camp. So anybody we had over 200 kids last year. So all those kids are eligible to get a swag pack, as well as the kids that registered this year. Unfortunately, the kids that registered this year, we gave them a voucher for next year, obviously, because we had to cancel camp. But so even the kids that were registered for this year, they still get a swag pack as well. And like Bibi said, backpack, T-shirts, et cetera, courtesy of Patrick Beverly and Adidas.
Hey, man.
Joe, is it going to be outside? So people get
to
drive up?
Yes.
Okay.
Just drive up.
Yeah. That was a great place. Y'all picked a great spot to be able to facilitate that thing. That was very smart using Grooves of Houston. Great, smart move.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Trying to really bless a black-owned business, number one, but
Yes.
also be a central location. That was all Lisa's idea. We had some help with Lisa had some contacts still with the Houston Rockets, so they're helping us out with that. So that was all Lisa's idea. Great location, and we pull kids from all over, not only just Houston, but from outside of Harris County as well. So, we wanted to be in a centralized location and make it to where it'd be easy out and still maintain social distancing with COVID. Absolutely.
And that's 10-2 at Grooves of Houston. And that, once again, these are for the kids that went to Camp Lockdown. That's the name of Patrick Beverley's annual camp in Houston. The ones who went last year and the ones who registered this year, plus the ones who registered this year, get a voucher for next year. So that means they will get they have swag bags for those campers, plus the kids who did not, who rolled over to next year will get another swag bag next year. Now, one of the things I noticed.
What is the voucher? What is the voucher for?
The voucher, what it does, since we didn't have the camp this year in 2021, that voucher goes over the 2022, and you don't have to pay again. It just transfers over. So we got the swag pack. We got, for those individuals that actually paid for the camp this year, we got a 1-day free camp on Black Friday, and your payment transfers to 2022, which will be the second week of July.
I got you.
Yep.
I got you.
Yep, that's how we doing.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So if you ain't paid, you don't get no voucher.
If you ain't paid, you don't get the voucher. The voucher's for people that paid.
Coach, I know how these folks is around here, Coach. That's why I'm trying to clear it up.
But here's the thing. If you didn't pay for this year, but you did go last year, we still give you that swag pack. We still give you that swag pack.
Okay.
So we blessing all the cats from last year, 2020, and the people that paid this year for 2021. And also further, on Black Friday, the individuals that signed up for this year get to come free to the 1-day Black Friday camp, as well as we're going to open that up and we'll send out information about what it'll cost for anybody. So as parents, if you want to go out shopping, come on out to the gym, drop your kid off about 8:30, go shopping. We take care of them for the day. And when you get done shopping about 4:30, come on back and pick them up. And we're going to do some good things basketball-wise for those kids while you can do that Christmas shopping.
Oh, like the Black Friday after Thanksgiving.
Yes, sir. That's what we're doing.
Oh, okay. I like that.
There you go. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Okay.
so we doing that for the.
Coach,
we doing that.
Help me out.
Yeah.
What time that
Yes,
camp
sir.
gonna start? Because them mamas like to drop their kids off early. Coach, they get that good shopping in early in the morning. What time y'all gonna be open?
Hey, look, we're going to be open at 9, but look, this is what I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
The mamas can get up at 5, go do that shopping until about 8, then they can go get the kids and pick them up, because I ain't going to be at the gym at 5 in the morning. I ain't be at the gym at 5 in the morning. Now, me and Joe will be there at 8:30. We ain't being there at 5.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got you. I like that. I like that.
Hey, man, that's awesome.
That's awesome,
and you know
man.
how this camp last year,
I heard about
one thing that I noticed, the kids who went to the camp last year, Patrick Beverley gave them gave them passes to come see the Clippers and the Rockets play.
I saw
they
them.
wasn't
Yeah.
expecting that.
Yeah.
Explain
They
that.
do that every year.
Let's elaborate on that.
We've actually done it the past 2 years. So the past 2 years, anybody who came to camp, Patrick paid for them to go to see the Clippers Rockets for one game. Unfortunately, we don't know about, this year we couldn't do that, obviously the second time, but we don't know how next year's going to look. So, one thing I wanted to mention, one of the reasons why the back to school pack is such a big deal, Patrick and Lisa, they do this annually in different cities in Chicago and LA. Patrick's always done a back to school type giveaway. So this was his way to continue that. He did bikes one year, his hometown is Chicago. So Patrick got his hand over a bunch of different cities, blessing communities all throughout the country. So, this is something positive that we want to continue to do. So yeah, he's very charitable with his time and his goods.
Joe, you know what I love about Patrick Beverley? I sit there, because Sam, I always wait. I go in back and talk to Sam Cassell after the game. Game. So I always go to the game. So I sit there. For this moment, I just wanted to wait because I was a little nosy. I saw some people that were sitting up near me. I wanted to see who they were with. You know what I'm saying? You know how you get a little, I said, who in the hell they with? So I'm waiting. No other Clipper player really came out. Patrick Beverley came out and talked to everybody. Most of the players got their people to come back to the back. Patrick Beverley came out and talked to everybody that was in the section. And if I knew nothing else about it, and me being around this industry for 30 years, that's very, very rare for a young man after a game and goes out and pay that much detail to the people in the stands. So I mean, shout out to him when you see him. You tell him, hey, he got me with that one. He got me with that one.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you what's even more. And I know Jim was his grandson was up at the camp dropping buckets. Hicks' grandson was out there, but every day at the camp, Patrick is there. Patrick ain't just there standing in the corner being cool. Patrick is on the court refereeing. He's on the court playing games. He's on the microphone talking to kids. He's walking around introducing himself to parents. So Patrick is that type of guy that when you come to his camp, you're going to know that it's his camp, and you're going to know that he appreciates you coming to his camp, and he's going to tell you that directly. So dude is just all about the kids, all about the people, and serving the community. And this is why a guy can go to L.A. and still call Houston home. Can go to L.A. and still call Houston home. Patrick is the best at it. And Lisa.
His mom she was active at the camp as well. And because like all the ladies I see on the Facebook feed right now, Anissa Ville sends a shout out to both of you guys, Joe and Phil.
Hey, Miss V. Miss V left us, man. She ain't at the gym no more, man. Hey, man, she broke our heart. Hey, Miss V is the gym. Miss V, Miss V, if you listening, we're gonna contract you out. We're gonna bring you out for a week for Patrick's Jones. So you're gonna have to tell your new job that you vacationing that week, sister.
Hey, Doug.
Because we need you back with it. You got things.
Doug, I made a mistake. I was placing y'all name tags up under your picture on the feed. I messed around. I was moving Doug's over. I had Doug over by Joe, and I was adjusting it, right? Before I can adjust my own damn mistake, she over there, that's the wrong one, Hannah.
Hey, those the real bosses, Lisa and Miss V. So me, Pat, and Joe don't make no moves unless those two women say they bless us with the moves. So, hey, big ups to Miss V, man, because she made it all happen with us, her and Lisa.
I like that.
Hey, and Clyde Jackson is on there. He say a real dude right there. I remember talking to him at one of the night bars over on the south side.
Taylor's nightclub.
That was probably both of us, dog. I ain't gonna lie. I love Houston, baby. I love Houston. When I come down there, Joe take me out. I mean, hey, the number one city in the country, baby. I love
Joe,
Houston, man.
Where is Taylor's at, Joe? Where is that place? Where is it?
Where
is Taylor's? Where is that?
Like 610 South, Gulf Gate area, over that way.
Oh, no, that's the one over there, Post Oak, off South Main.
South Post Oak. We're 610 meets Post Oak over there. I'm over
there. Okay.
What they call it? Southside.
The reason I know why. I wish Sandra wasn't on here. I know why Jimmy know it. It's a place right there before you get to it. Joe, Jimmy used to be one of Jimmy's spots. So
they didn't close that place down.
How you know it's closed down?
It's not a secret spot now.
Hold up. How you know it's closed down, Jimmy?
I was going out that way. I was driving out that way. I was going to Fiesta.
Yeah, man.
Hey, man, y'all should have did us like this today.
Right now. Hey, man, so we have to get the break right away. We come right back. We'll talk about basketball. And want to ask you, Bill, about Rondo and his status with the Lakers. I know that's your guy. You talk to him often. We come right back. And also, Joe, you got some stuff going on with baseball?
Yes, sir.
We'll talk about that when we come right back on the Chop Shop.
Yes, sir.
Good stuff.
Some guy decided to drive to Kenosha with his militia buddies to protect a business, and apparently ended up shooting 3 people and killing 2. But don't worry, the business is okay. And let me tell you something. No one drives into a city with guns because they love someone else's business that much. That's some bullshit. No one has ever thought, oh, it's my solemn duty to pick up a rifle and protect that TJ Maxx. They do it because they're hoping to shoot someone. That's the only reason people like him join these gangs in the first place. And yes, I said it, a gang. Enough with this militia bullshit. This isn't the Battle of Yorktown. It's a bunch of dudes threatening people with guns. And while what happened with those shootings last night is tragic, what happened afterwards is illuminating. Because it made me wonder. It really made me wonder why some people get shot 7 times in the back, while other people are treated like human beings and reasoned with and taken into custody with no bullets in their bodies. How come Jacob Blake was seen as a deadly threat for a theoretical gun that he might have and might try to commit a crime with, but this gunman who was armed and had already shot people who had shown that he is a threat was arrested the next day, given full due process of the law, and generally treated like a human being whose life matters? How did Dylan Roof shoot up a church, James Holmes shoot up a movie theater, and both live to tell about it? Why is it that the police decide that some threats must be extinguished immediately while other threats get the privilege of being diffused? I'm asking these as questions, but I feel like we know the answer. The answer is that the gun doesn't matter as much as who is holding the gun. Because to some people, black skin is the most threatening weapon of all.
Welcome back to the best 120 minutes of your day. The Chop Shop, the nation's #1 urban sports talk show, and also your midday sports happy hour. Yours truly, Robert Hatter, alongside Jim Hicks, and we got 2 very, very special guests, Joe Harris and Doug Bivy. We're talking about the great things that this young man, Patrick Beverly, and his mother and his family are doing, not just in the city that he lives in or plays in now, but the city that he adopted as his home. I never forget last summer when he did that event last summer. Doug, Jimmy, Sandra, Jimmy's wife, was the happiest woman in the world. She was talking about Nico did this, Nico this, Nico had the time of his life and was looking forward. I know he was looking forward because what y'all did in that camp, I think the way Jimmy explained it to me, his confidence level, when he came out of there, his confidence level was a lot more. He came out of there enjoying, and I mentioned this yesterday, Joe Harris, the thing that I regret about my son and how I brought him up, I didn't let him enjoy the game enough. It was a regiment to him. It was, dude, if you want to be the best, you got to do this. If you want to do this, you got to do this. And I said if I had a chance to go back in life, I'd have made it a lot more enjoyable for him. So when Nico was enjoying the game, and parents, when your kids enjoy, let them enjoy the game first. And when you find that joy, that's when you smash the metal and say, well, look here. In order to get good or great at this, you got to do this. You got to do this. And I just hope, Joe and Doug, that helps some parents out, because I wish I had somebody to tell me that.
Yeah, man. I mean, you're exactly right. You hit the nail on the head, man. If these kids, sometimes, parents try to live vicariously through their kids, but they got to realize, man, you got to, if your kids don't love it, they ain't going to do it. And so I coach my son right now, and I tell him, I'm not going to make him get up and work out. I'm not going to make him get up and practice. But if you knock on my door, I go out there and work you out. So, his heart has to be into it before he actually can play the game. Because if your heart ain't into it, your color's going to show. And what they say, you can paint a zebra white, but as soon as it rains, the strike's going to come out, ain't it? So at the end of the day, you can act like you want to play the game of basketball, but there's too many guys out here that want it and that are too hungry for you to make it, and you're not hungry. So you're exactly right. So make sure your child enjoys the game. And in the beginning, just let them love it. Yeah. Just let them have fun. And it gets too serious sometimes, man, in the beginning. And I understand why people do that, man. But, man, I've seen so many kids just end up hating the game because they were pushed too hard in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, Coach.
And just to piggyback on that, Doug and I are both teachers, coaches, educators, etc. And so when you come to our camp for our younger kids, we have a little different program for our younger group because we know they're in that learning stage, in the stage of just understanding the game. So you're going to see our camp catered towards our different age groups. So what you might see in the older section, you go to the different gym with the younger kids, it's going to be a little more fun, a little more hands-on, a little more interactive, little more so where they're just understanding the game. So I diddle that 100%. We practice that in our camp for sure.
Awesome, Jimmy.
Yeah, I mean, I was just reading one of the posts from one of the viewers, and I just asked from Carolyn, we never know who's watching Chop Shop. She said, please help me with my grandson. His name is Treon.
Okay.
He is very depressed. On April the 2nd of this year, his mother passed away because the hospital refused to treat her.
Wow.
They sent her home to die in front of her kids. She was only 35 years old.
Oh, wow.
And her son, Treyon. So I'm assuming that they were talking, that she's asking about the swag bags or whatnot. I'm assuming, or maybe camp next year. I don't know. But anyway, what's the email address that she's watching right now that she can contact you guys or whatever? And for the details and stuff like that, we in the Chop Shop always like to get behind those types of things. Think about it.
Tell it.
The mama died at 35.
First of all, man, that family's in our prayers, man, and mental depression is definitely hitting our kids, our community rampant, especially with this virus. Black and brown people are going down, man, and it's just a sad situation right now. But if you could tell her or she's listening to us, go to info at camplockdown.com. Info at camplockdown.com, and tell her to email us at that email address, and that she was the one whose daughter passed away at 35, and me, Joe, Lisa, our administrative assistant, will make sure we reach out to him, and we'll look after the kid. Hate to hear things like that, definitely.
Good deal, man.
And
Good
also,
deal.
Jimmy, I want Carolyn, Sam, Jimmy. I'm glad you missed it because I have so many on the screen. I'm glad you've caught it, Carolyn. Our email address, the Chop Shop's email address is chopshophtx, all one word, at gmail.com. Email us also. Email me at that address, and I'm gonna see if I can find some things to cheer him up with around my house. So thank you so much. This is what the Chop Shop is all about, Doug. And I thank y'all, man, for being here and coming here and doing this. Jimmy, what else you got?
Yeah. Now, of course, Joe, you mentioned earlier you're an educator. You're living in Houston right now, and you're at one of the colleges as an instructor, right?
Correct. So
tell us about that.
Yeah, I'm at Houston Community College. I'm in the athletic department there. We deal with the club sports, recreational sports, JUCO sports, etc. So I also teach a course though. And your fans don't know, but I umpire college baseball. I'm a Division I college baseball umpire. So I just created a new course that's not only open for students, but it's open for the community as well. If anybody wants to get into sports officiating, there's a course you can take now that you can learn how to officiate. You'll learn how to referee basketball, football, and umpire baseball. It's a 12-week course. It's open to the community and students. So it's just something, a way to trying to get back to the profession of officiating. I've been doing it for a long time. I've coached basketball as well, but I've been an umpire as well for a long time and referee. So it's just something, a way that my administrator agency, we didn't have a position for it. So I created the course just to give another opportunity to give back. And my main goal is to reach out to former athletes, because what we see is guys play college basketball, they play college football, and they don't go pro. Well, officiating is a great way to stay into the sport you love and make some good money, remain in the sport, travel the world. Baseball's taking me all over the world to go umpire, to train people how to umpire. I've met so many different people. So it's a way to get, and when you look at what's going on with the NCAA and with NBA, NFL, there's not enough representation at the officiating level. Unfortunately, we do not have enough black and brown officials either. So that's from all sports, all across the board, because not many players realize that could be their next journey. That could be their next step. So whether it be a career like me or just a hobby and work high school, make some extra money, whatever it may be, officiating is a great respected profession. And my ideology, while I'm using my platform with NCAA, is to help hopefully increase more black officials. That's my goal with this course. So it's a great opportunity just to get started on the basics.
And I want to piggyback. I want to piggyback off of that real quick, because Joe is exactly right. And I'm a high school basketball coach. I played at Hampton University, and I teach math here. And one of the things that I'm actually trying to do in our district, and I hope and I'm going to talk to Joe about it in Houston, we want to get more black males into the field of education. Because when you hang up those cleats and you hang up those sneakers, you might want to pick up a clipboard and a whistle. And like Joe said, if you don't make it to the league, you can get back into these school districts and you can be a teacher, you can be a mentor, and you can be a coach to these young black men. 88% of the teachers that our kids see from 6th grade to 12th grade are white females. 88%. We need black representation, especially young black men in the teacher's lounge. We need black representation in the classroom. We need black representation on the basketball court. One thing we can do as black men and black people is we can dangle that sports carrot and say, get your butt in class and do your work. And if we get more black males into the field of teaching and coaching, I think we can have more discipline and determined black men in society. So to piggyback what Joe is doing is, far as officiating, I see the same thing as far as officiating and education. A lot of our black males go to college and they don't major in much. They get scholarships. What's your favorite subject? Okay, it's history. Major in history. And then whenever you're done playing, whether that's after your 4 years of college, whether that's overseas, whether that's in the NFL or the NBA, you can come back to a school and you can pick up a whistle and a clipboard and you can mentor those kids. And I think we need that representation in our school districts.
Man, that was awesome. I had to give you a clap on that. And what I was going to interject was, Joe, I put the flyer up on the screen already while you were talking.
Thank you.
I had it up on the screen.
So my email's on there.
Yeah.
If you want to email me information about the course, we got some great things. Some NFL referees, some NBA referees, some Major League Baseball umpires are going to be guest speakers. So it's going to be 100% online, obviously because of COVID, but once you're done with the course, you can get certified to begin at the lower levels of middle school and things of that nature. So it's just a great opportunity to get more people that know the sport from a player perspective to stay in the sport and officiating. And I dare everybody, if you're interested, go Google how much an NBA referee makes.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, sir.
And
they don't. Hey Joe, they don't realize that these NFL referees, they are doctors, lawyers, teachers, educators, and they work Monday through Friday, and then they leave on Friday night, go fly to their college football game, go fly to their college basketball game, make that money, and then go back to work on Monday. I mean, what an experience! So I think it's great what Joe's doing.
I think it's great what you said, Doug. Doug, I'm gonna on this show. From now on, I'm going to make a note to myself to reiterate and keep talking about our the drive for young men, black men to be in the classroom, or being coaches and you said 88% of the kids from from kindergarten through 12th grade?
From grade 6th grade to 12th grade, 88% of the teachers that our kids see are white females. Wow. And we need more black representation. Okay. Right now, we probably have 1 out of 10 teachers that are black males, and we're not going to get it 10 out of 10. But if we can get it to 3.5 or 4 out of 10, and we can lure these guys to get back into the classrooms by coaching and with coaching, and that can be their platform, they can do so much for these young kids.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, man. We appreciate that, man. Appreciate you guys keep pushing. And this Saturday, you're going to be giving the swag bags out for the kids who from Camp Lockdown. It's Patrick Beverly's Camp Lockdown from last year and the ones who had registered for this year. Now, what about if they want to register for 2021? Are those details up on the website yet?
Yes, it is. Go to www.camplockdown.com. We got the dates for next year. We ready to, well, we got the website on. We're not collecting registrations just yet, are we, Joe? We're not collecting it just yet. But you can sign up. You can sign up in November. We start in November, but we got the dates up for next year, and we out in Humble at the gym. And Miss V will be with us. That's right. And Miss V will be with us.
Say, Joe,
hey, look, and I want to.
You know what, Al?
What?
I think.
Hey, I want to give a quick shout out. I want to give a quick shout out to Elizabeth Lloyd with the Houston Rockets. Elizabeth Lloyd, who is Lisa Beverly's best friend. Man, Liz comes out and she puts it down for the camp. She ain't friends, she family. So big shout out to Elizabeth Lloyd bringing this all together.
She'll be with us this weekend.
Oh, she will?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
This weekend.
Hey man, we appreciate it. And once again, man, thanks so much for chopping up with us on the Chop Shop. And you guys keep on pushing through, man, with those kids, no youngsters. Me and Halla, we're going to get signed up for that umpire class. We're going to get some of that bread.
Get that money.
Hey,
I'm thinking about it over here, Joe.
MLB umpire average salary is about $350.
No, I'm talking about at the young level. We want them June bugs. Them like what they range down there?
About $75 a game.
What?
Beat that.
Oh, hey, Halla.
Let's go. Joe, your $79 is in the mail, baby. I'm going to that
class. It's online too, for real. I'm signing up for the class. But man, thanks so much, guys. Joe Harris and Doug Bibby. Hey man, with the Patrick Beverleys and Camp Lockdown, man, we appreciate everything. Didn't get a chance to talk about Rondo. You ran from that, coach. You supposed to let us know what Rondo was gonna do.
Now leave Rondo
hey, how you gonna play me like that, Jimmy? I ain't running from nobody. I'm sitting right here. I ain't dead. I ain't went nowhere. You act like I got up and went to the bathroom or something. I ain't go nowhere. Hopefully Patrick and Rajon be back next series. That's what we want to see. I want to see the Clippers and the Lakers in the championship, and I want them both to win. How about that?
I like that.
I like that. I love it. I don't want but one of them to win. How about that? I want Patrick to win. I want Patrick.
Yeah, baby. Hey, I'm happy either way. It's a win-win for me.
I know.
It's a win-win for me.
My dude Rondo a Blu-ray playing mofo. That's all he's gonna do, play them cards all night long.
All night.
Well,
and people don't realize Patrick and Rajon, the same cat, man. Both good dudes and big time point guards, man. Right. Big up to P. Bev, man. Definitely, man. So, and I want to thank you guys for what y'all do, brothers.
Thank you.
I want to thank y'all for what y'all do, man. Thank you for giving us an outlet to do this. Seeing two OGs on here running this radio station like y'all doing. I ain't had so much fun, man. All we need is a couple of drinks, really. Shoot.
I'm doing it in the South Side. Hey, no, I'm about to go get mine in the South. It's break time, Halla. Hey, and thanks so much, guys. We'll talk to you guys later on. Chop Shop.
Y'all take it easy
in a minute. And guess what? We'll open up the phone line.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Take care.
Jimmy, I got to go through some. Okay, we'll go quick break. Okay, right. Oh, I got something for y'all. Oh yeah, right here.
No change tomorrow. We know vote. We keep hearing vote. Everybody vote. But I'm here to speak for those that
as you can see, we all thank you guys for taking upon your time to stay here with us. We're sorry that it took a little bit more time, but we thought it would be best for us as a team to brainstorm a little bit, educate ourselves, and not rush into having raw emotion, giving you guys things like that. So on behalf of ourselves and our team, we're going to place a statement as a team today and go back and continue to educate ourselves and get better awareness of what's going on, and then speak to you guys later. So we're going up with a statement now.
Team statement. The past 4 months have shed a light on the ongoing racial injustices facing our African American community. Citizens around the country have used their voices and platforms to speak out against these wrongdoings. Over the last few days in our home state of Wisconsin, we've seen the horrendous video of Jacob Blake being shot in the back 7 times by a police officer in Kenosha, and the additional shooting of protesters. Despite the overwhelming plea for change, there has been no action. So our focus today cannot be on basketball.
When we take the court and represent Milwaukee and Wisconsin, we are expected to play at a high level, give maximum effort, and hold each other accountable. We hold ourselves to that standard, and in this moment, we are demanding the same from lawmakers and law enforcement. We are calling for justice for Jacob Blake and demand the officers be held accountable. For this to occur, it is imperative for the Wisconsin State Legislature to reconvene after months of inaction and take up meaningful measures to address issues of police accountability, brutality, and criminal justice reform. We encourage all citizens to educate themselves, take peaceful and responsible action, and remember to vote on November 3rd on behalf of the Milwaukee Bucks.
We're back.
Welcome back to the Chop Shop, your midday sports happy hour, the best 120 minutes of your day. Moving right along, of course, we're going to open up the phone lines for you guys in just a second. But don't forget, this weekend, I'm going to be down in the ASAC, in the Austin area, for the first, there's a tournament going on that's invite only. And they're not giving away trophies, so to speak. They're giving away bread. And I mentioned a couple of months ago, and I told people, I said that money, donations, that's how you have to do the verbiage, is going to be the new thing moving forward after the pandemic, because there's tournaments everywhere. And a lot of teams going to be, they can go to a tournament, you win, and it'd be worth that trip. Well, this weekend, the ASAC Classic, Texas hard work. Well, matter of fact, we're just gonna bring in Craig Carlton. He's the director and the organizer of it, and just give you guys a little splash of the fire that's gonna be in the building. Not a whole lot of teams. That's what I like about it. Not a whole lot of teams. It ain't for everybody. And tell us what we got right now. Join us right now. We got Craig Carlton from the ASAC. And what's going on? Welcome to the Chop Shop, Craig. Tell them what ASAC stands for those who probably aren't keen to that acronym.
Yeah, Jim, thank you, first of all, for having me on the radio show. You know how much I have respect for you and your ability to evaluate talent. And the most thing I love about you is how you help all these Texas kids get free educations and really put them out there, in front of the country. And kudos to you, sir. ASAC, I'm from Houston, as you know. I played for the legendary Don Coleman back when we were winning everything else. Wheatley and Cashmere dominated Houston. There was Rob Madison was my senior year that dominated. They had Greg Kye, Johnny Simple. They were just loaded, and Rob Williams was there. So I came to Texas and played basketball for the University of Texas. And the one thing I noticed in Austin is a very laid-back town with a great, great vibe. It hadn't changed one bit since the day I came here. But with that, the kids around here didn't really know what it was like to go try to play a major D1 program. I don't want to say they were soft, but they just didn't have the intensity and the hunger some of the Dallas and Houston kids did. So I got together with a couple of my buddies that played college ball too, and we started our own program. And we found where we got our best kids were Austin, San Antonio, and Killeen, especially the Killeen area. The military families, you can't have better parents, better kids, yes or no, sir. The Austin has always had talent, but always got out of here. And then San Antonio, Austin and San Antonio are two of the top 15 cities in the nation in population. And yet we don't have Adidas, we don't have Nike, we didn't have any of that. So if everybody knows about me, I'm one that don't tell me I can't do it. And so I started this program. And some of the kids that we had early on, in fact, someone ended up playing for the Hoops, where Andre Roberson played for us, and then Jordan Clarkson did, and then he ended up playing for the Hoops. But we really just wanted to put Austin on the map, get it out there, and you know, give these kids an opportunity too. It's taken us a while, but we're there now. We have the respect of the Houston and Dallas teams. They know when they play us, it's going to be a dogfight. In fact, you saw one of my better teams 2 years ago. I told you I was going to come down and win your tournament. And we beat everybody, I think, by an average of 28 points in that tournament. They didn't like me. They tried to shoo me back out of town, but I reminded them I was a Houstonian before they were Houstonians. So anyway, no, we just that's where we get most of our kids, Austin, San Antonio, Queens. So that's how we named ASAP.
Yeah, and so this weekend you're doing the event, and you're not giving away medals, so to speak. You're giving away bread. So tell us that concept and who's invited. This is not for anybody this weekend. Tell us some of the fire that's invited to this tournament.
So as you know, coming from Austin, we have to come to Houston and Dallas to play any good teams to get noticed. So we had to gain the respect of the officials, the other AAU programs, and we have done that through hard work. And it just, so many guys have reached out and become I have made so many great relationships with coaches in Houston, especially Dallas. And I said, you know, it's time for us to have a great tournament. I put on that Westlake Holiday Classic that ran for 3 years, that brought in all those good teams. Big Cam from Fort Bend Bush was there when he was there, and in fact, they won the tournament. But I said, Austin needs something. So, Vonzel at Southern Assault, Lupe at Hard Work. You know, Southern Assault won they were Marcus Smart. They won the Adidas last year. They were picked to win it again. They're loaded. They're coming. Harrison Ingram, the #1 ranked player in the state of Texas, will be playing in it. We've got Taz Elite, which is Pro Skills and Drive Nation coming. Jeff Webster is one of my very good friends, and there's going to be an announcement made today that's going to be made on your radio station.
What you got?
That's going to shock a lot of people. No one knows about this, and I'm announcing it on your show here at the end. But we got, you know, the kid Wallace going to be coming here. Everybody's after him. He reminds me a lot of Isaiah that played for Marlin back in Pro Skills. He's just a dog point guard. He's playing with them with some other high level. Then Lupe, Hard Work's got 2 or 3 really talented big men. And of course, his son is a top 50 player in the nation. We got Houston Defenders, and everybody knows what Mr. Harrison's about. I think sometimes he ought to have the jersey out there playing. That is one of the toughest-minded coaches, and that's the way I coach, so I love him. Most of the guys I surround myself with are tough-minded coaches. We also got Team Foe coming. Let's see, who else would be another big one. But there'll be, I know this, there's going to be 18 kids between the 23, 22, and 21 class that are top 100s in the nation in this tournament.
Oh, that's a good five. So it's 8 teams, and you invited 8 teams. Now, somebody had sent me a text message a while ago, and it was a good question. They said there's a team out of Houston that had not lost a game all summer. They're 24-0, and they're RL9. And
That's
they want to know,
man. You know what?
They want to know, why didn't they get an
What he
invite?
does.
Why didn't they get an invite?
Well, and we already were closed. I saw him 2 weeks ago. He knows I love him. I love what he does for those kids. In fact, we saw each other. There's a place up there in Dallas called Fades. If you like chicken fried steak and fried chicken, these people bring it out on a plate and a big old potatoes and stuff. And he was there with his baby. Anyway, next year he will be there. He should have been here this year. That's my mistake. And I won't let it happen again. Next year, we're going to have 16 17U teams and 8 top 16 and 8 top 15U next year. We're going to bring in Mac Irvin Fire. I'm good friends with that coach, real good. I'm good friends with the Indiana Elite coach. So we're going to be bringing in 4 out of state teams as well as the great AAU programs around here. But RL9 is loaded. I watched him play. The man does an amazing job with those kids. I have nothing but respect. And it was a mistake on my part not having him in this tournament, and I apologize.
And so now, once again, where's the location of that tournament this weekend in Austin?
It's going to be at St. Michael's Academy. It's a school much like the Houston Episcopal is down there, or St. Thomas. And it's got great facilities. We'll have 3 refs. Where they either have, all the refs are major 6A refs or they're college refs. It's going to be really good. We're going to have coaches and refs meet beforehand. There will be no technicals in my tournament. Coaches can ask the refs to come over and explain a call. Whether they agree with the call or not, the ref is going to come over. We're not going to have a dividing line between the refs think they're this and the coaches think we're going to do this. This is about the kids. Technicals change games. It gives free points, and the kids aren't involved in that, and I'm not going to have anything to do with it.
Okay.
And I'm going to.
Okay, I'm gonna be paying attention to that. That's something interesting right there. Even Hannah look back like, wait a minute, I never heard of that. I understand the logic.
Sounds like the Harrison rule to me.
That's the what?
Sounds like the Harrison rule to me.
There's an Aaron Harrison.
Hey, Jim, the refs know who's paying them too, so they will not call technical. Okay.
Hey man, we appreciate it. We up against the break, man. Thanks a bunch. That's Craig Carden, guys, with the ASAC Classic this weekend in Austin. Once again, as he just said, fire from all over the country. Southern Assault. You got Team 4, Texas Hard Work.
I got to tell you one big news, Mr. Hicks.
Break that news for us.
This is coming live from you and everybody else. Listen, take notice, Houston Hoops. Take notice, everybody. Pro Skills in Dallas, ASAC in Austin are now united in the EYBL. We will be the #1 powerhouse. You better bring your hard hat and gear when you come play us. You heard it on Mr. Hicks' show, and it is a done deal. Me and Mr. Webster just signed it up. Mr. Webster told me to tell you hi, and he's going to be sitting in the room right next to you.
Hey, I'm going to be down there tomorrow. So I'm going to find him. Tell him I got my jug with me. I'm coming with my jug.
Hey, you're going to go sip one now, okay?
I got my Granny Clampett juice. I'm coming down there with it. I got me one of the mason jars. I'll see you guys on tomorrow.
Y'all just got the announcement. No one knows. And that's what it is. We just inked it up. We're going to be a powerhouse, my friend.
Oh, man, appreciate it. Thanks a bunch, man. That is Craig Carden. Big news. ASAC and Pro Skills.
Take care. I love what you guys do for all these kids. God bless.
Thanks a bunch. And we're going to a quick break, guys. Once again, if you missed that, ASAC and Nike Pro Skills are merging. And that is some reinforcement for Nike Pro Skills because it gives them a footprint, a grip that is in that ASAC area. We go to the break and come right back, and we got a couple things to talk about. And one is this guy, some social media stuff going in that mailbag. Man, before we land this plane, some serious stuff out there. Chop shop. Be right back.
We know what they do say. Tell us what they don't say.
They don't say. They don't say you can play sports and keep a 4.0 GPA. They don't say you can can go after academic scholarships. They don't say you can get your plumbing apprentice license at the age of 16. They don't say you can become a lifeguard, learn CPR, and save lives. They don't say you can become your own CEO at the age of 18. When you're on the go, Germatized hand sanitizer spray.
Welcome back to the best 120 minutes of your day. The Chop Shop, the nation's #1 urban sports talk show, and also your midday sports happy hour. Yours truly, Robert Hatter, alongside Jim Hicks. We done went around the world today. We done went NBA. We done Patrick Beverly. Man, shout out to him and his. I won't say that enough. Shout out to him and his crew, and I hope he win a world championship. Then we just had a young man on from Austin, Texas, just announced this on Jim Hicks' show today that that Pro Skills, him and Jeff Webster, they had joined forces, and it's gonna be everybody else be. Oh, so guess what? Where is the rest of the guys? Now let's get some more forces joined around here. Jeff Webster, I can't wait to talk to you.
No, that's a smart ass move.
See, I don't understand it. So why was it smart?
That's a smart.
Why is it smart?
Remember, this same guy had merged up under Jazzy Harwell with DFW Elite a couple of years ago, and when Jazzy had his deal, right? And ASAC, they had ASAC, Urban ASAC, and you had Urban DFW, and that reinforced. What it does is that means now you don't have to go traveling all over the state to chase those guys in that area. He's going to get them and control his area. And of course, Loopy with the Texas Hard Work and Boo Man, those guys, that's the only other sneaker grip in that area. Well, Nike and Nike Pro Skills have already had Austin Pro Skills. So now, if they're merging, that's different than having the Austin Pro Skills, because that was a subsidiary of the main. What he's saying, what I got from Craig Carton, is that they're merging together, kind of like what Jazzy did with Bunzel with the Southern Assault. When Bunzel had the Marcus Smart team, Jazzy had the Urban DFW, they created Southern Assault. Well, this team's still going to be called Nike Pro Skills, obviously, but now they are merging and reinforcing the top one. Plus, Craig Carton, he got a few coins, so that helps as well. You know.
Well, excuse me. Jeff Webster got some coins also. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I understand Jeff. I didn't say he didn't have none. Yeah. I said he got a few coins. That helps. That helps a lot of that helps when you got to spend your money. That's when you get to a certain level, you don't have to spend as much of your money, and somebody's willing to come and absorb some of the liability and for the ride. That's a great thing. So, and it gives Urban ASAC a chance to come finally onto the Nike circuit with their, they've been on Adidas, up under the Adidas umbrella for the past 5 years or so. So that's the thing.
So the importance of it, because you went around the world. So why it's so important is it gains the power of that area and the power of a Dallas area. They can combine. That's what you're saying.
Remember, ASAC has spit out a few McDonald's All-Americans.
Okay, but so I'm saying, so you're merging the power of that area with the power of Jeff Webster and a Nike EYBL circuit type team. They merging together. Is that what you talk? I'm just trying to figure out. You say it's very important.
There's only one sneaker program in that area.
Yeah.
San Antonio, Austin, Killeen. That's only one, and that's Texas Hard Work.
So now you say
so now if they're merging, and remember they already had the secondary program, the Austin Pro Skills, that got some of the best of the rest. And Austin Pro Skills are pretty damn good this year. So now you got Nike Pro Skills have a footprint on the left and a footprint on the right down in that area. Smart. I mean, and you think about it.
Clyde Jackson just said big news. Clyde is now in Austin. Houston Blue Chip 8 in Austin, Texas. So, thank you, Clyde. Yeah, okay. Anybody else got any more announcements?
Okay.
Hey, anybody got any more announcements?
Hey, I'm digging that. And that's understand. And that's the thing, Bo. A lot of people reinforcements, I really believe, is what the state needs.
Jimmy.
Because of too many teams.
Look what just happened. Look what just happened. Sprint merged with T-Mobile. Mergers happen when you're smart and merge in business. Mergers happen. That's why I'm trying to say what's monumental about it. So, hey, it's okay. So guess what? So some of those major players with ASAC will be able, who wouldn't be able to play unless they played on a EYBL, will be able to play on the EYBL circuit. So I think I was just trying to find out what, and then I just had to come up with it myself. Yes, I see what's going on. And I got a question. Doug, is you going down to Austin? Is Doug going to be in Austin too?
Well, I think Doug had to move. They're moving back to Port Arthur with his family. I'm going to be there on Saturday, and then I have to get back for the Rucker on Wood on Sunday. So I'll be able to catch all of the Saturday action. And remember, it's only 8 teams, so I'll be able to see every team play at least once on that Saturday, and some good matchups indeed. And so now, once you go and move in the mailbag.
Oh yeah, what you got in the mailbag? Cause we overtime in here.
Yeah, we overtime, and that is on the other day. There was one of the high school stars posted on social media a simple post, a generic post. It wasn't specific and talk about anybody. It says, "Stop killing us." And a grown man responded to that tweet with the following: "I agree 100%, but also quit killing each other."
It's a dog whistle, coach. Anybody who said that, that's one of them racist dog whistles. Always remember that, y'all. Whenever somebody say that, that's just a way of saying, okay, let me tell you something. We are hard enough on we hard on our own people for killing each other. We talk about that all the time. But we don't need nobody else telling us that. The thing right now is talking about unarmed police officers, armed police officers chasing, putting a knee on a guy's neck, an armed police officer shooting a man in the back. I emphasize back. 7 times. He was gonna go get a knife, but you let a little 17-year-old white guy come up with an AK-47 and y'all brace him and what? So that bull crap that he said to that little boy, or whoever said it to the young man, hey, quit trolling them kids, whoever it is, go troll, go troll somebody
now
else.
The author of that response is a guy named Jerry Mullen. Jerry Mullen has long been one of the nation's most prominent event operators on the JUCO scene.
What color is he?
He's white.
I didn't even know who he was, but I knew the comment. That's the comment white folks make.
After he made comment shortly afterwards, he muted his Twitter account. And because I get so many responses and people were getting with him, he muted his Twitter account. And understand, first of all, and I tell people pay attention, JUCO teams around the country have long been supporting Jerry Mullen's events. And the thing about this is a lot of people whom you guys support with your dollars, you don't have no idea how they're thinking or what they're, especially in this time. This time is sensitive. It's special. 2020 is special. We're going in. This history book's gonna be written all up and down with 2020 in it. But Jerry Mullen says this to a 15-year-old kid that wasn't talking to him. So that means you're shooting at him and all of his followers. And that's what you were doing. Here's my thing. All of JUCO, if you're a parent and your son is considering going to a junior college or has no, by choice or by force, ask that coach if that team is going to play in any of Jerry Mullen's upcoming events. If that coach say yes, or maybe so, if you feel some kind of way, then you have to take a stance. Because you know what happens and what's happened? We knew it was coming. He put back up his Twitter account and sent out an apology. Right? He sent the apology out. And here's the apology. I'm grieved and sorry for a tweet that was insensitive and hurtful. My heart hurts for the injustice, pain, and evil inflicted upon the minorities in our nation. I acted upon emotion to the inner city killings of my players. I ask for forgiveness and grace. It's Jerry Mullen. I'll tell you something. You have choices and you have consequences. And the way that you can respond and you act is you act by fighting back economically. What this guy has already said, he's supposed to apologize. He's come to a conclusion and realized the money that's at stake and he's going to be standing to losing. So now you apologize. That apology, first of all, that's the worst kind. If anything, he should have did to pay the what's my quarterback name at the New Orleans Saints? If anything, what's his name?
Drew Brees.
He should have done the Drew Brees and put it on and made a video at least so you maybe be able to win some people over. Let me tell you something. Jerry Mullen, black folk ain't buying that shit no more. That used to be, that script is over. We don't even need the apology right then. We already know what you said. You're supposed to say what you meant. You could have took that off. You didn't. And then on top of that, there are people that liked your tweet, that co-signed it. Your constituents, your followers.
Jimmy, that's how they really feel. They really feel. I mean, that's their excuse. That's why I said it's a dog whistle. It ain't loud. It don't supposed to be loud enough for you to hear. It's just they know. You know how them dog whistles? We don't hear it, but the dog hear it. We're not supposed to hear it, Jimmy, but they got smart, educated brothers out here now. I told you it was a dog. I know what that is. I know the people who do it all the time. The Fox people do it all the time. The Trumpers do it all the time. These people, that's what their biggest excuse and their big, and it's just, dude, it don't have nothing to do with nothing. Anytime these guys say anything like that, that's the first thing that come out of their mouth. So guess what, Jimmy? It can ease the pain to them on what they've been doing for the last 400 years, the Jim Crow. Like I told y'all, I saw something last night. I told y'all they got this new movie, this series out called Lovecraft County. Jimmy, let me tell you something. You know how you hear about something, and then you just hear about it and you read about it and you read about it. But Jimmy, they got an instance in this movie where the three black people stopped just to find their bearings. And the sheriff pulled up behind them. Right before that scene happened, you saw a sign that was covered up partially said, Niggers, beware, this is a sundown town. Jimmy, if you're caught in these places, we have had to go through. Jimmy, could you imagine living in a place that me, you, and Sandra's daughter, Sandra in the car, and we ride and we just stop to go and relieve ourselves in the woods. And a sheriff stopped us and said, I can kill y'all right now. And I'll be in my right. Y'all got 7 minutes to get before sundown to get out this town. This the kind of stuff people had to live through. And you telling me a little boy just said stop killing us? And your grown white ass get on there and tell him y'all need to stop killing each other.
So that's why. And understand. So there's so much stacked up now. If we forget about it and don't make it a conscious effort to act upon it, there are certain things that you have to respond with once again, with your decisions to not support. I promise you, that's how you get people's attention. That's one way how you get people's attention without even touching them. And that is, once again, if you got a prospect and that junior college coach wants your son, and you saying that if you're going over here, we ain't going. That's all right, coach. No, I will pass. I promise you, know what they're gonna do? If they realize that's a deal breaker, that coach is not gonna take his team to Mullins tournament. He's gonna go now. Hell, Alan Branch did a JUCO event in Dallas every year. I don't know the status of it now. I know other people now are rallying together to try to come up with concepts in JUCO events.
I've never heard of the man.
Does anybody else do JUCO events as minority in this region?
Well, you just said one, Alan Branch. That's enough.
If we know other ones, let us know so we can go in that way. Because once again, you got to have a solution, an alternative. That's a call to action. Otherwise, you're asking them other coaches just to straight boycott, and most of those most of those junior college coaches are white. But if you not sending your black kids to him, to that white coach who's going to support that rhetoric.
We just got somebody. Courtney said he gonna start a JUCO event. Let's Courtney get your paperwork together, and we'll support your event right here in Houston, Texas. So
man,
let's make that
would be the perfect lane. The perfect lane for somebody like Courtney Brooks to start.
Jeffrey Day already got the infrastructure. He got one. See, that's what we got to start doing, man.
That's it.
You can't just keep.
That's how we solve this.
Yeah. You just can't. You just can't.
Listen, guys. Understand something. It's like back in the days when that was after the Rodney King stuff. Remember when the city of the guys in the community of LA realized it was a battle against the establishment. So that means in order to fight this battle properly, the blue rags and the red rags had to put them rags in their pocket for a minute and call it a truce. And because we got bigger stuff to do. We understand we can keep on knocking each other upside the head later on. But right now, hold on, time out. Let's both us together. They gonna act right. That's where we at in the state of Texas right now. It's time for people to go and be able to pay attention to what's going on. If people are doing events and they're not putting nothing back into your communities, then why the hell are you supporting them over and over? Why? That has to be addressed it goes from the ground up, from the parent to the grassroots coach. to the person of influence.
I keep trying to
This
tell
stuff,
y'all.
I mean,
I talk about it in my industry. You don't understand it, but how do they give them money? They give them money. You still have the power. All I'm telling you, he have so if he give them money to show up, they don't spoke. Excuse me. So if Jerry Mullins said, "Okay, I'm gonna give y'all money to show up," so they said, what should those guys do then, Jimmy?
if he's telling that JUCO coach, remember what you're
JUCO coach,
I'm
gonna give y'all money to show up.
The JUCO coach is not going to be the problem because most of the JUCO coaches are white. That's why you have to think about it. So if most of those JUCO coaches may already feel like him on the inside. Many of them. I can't speak for them. So that means we can control the prospects of which junior colleges you're going to go to.
Hey, y'all, I'm gonna say it again.
Or more importantly, Howard, which ones you're not going to go to. That's more important. We have a control over that.
Whenever I learned this from Alan Branch, he said, "Control the controllables. Control the stuff you can control."
And you can control that.
You can control who you sign. You can, if you're a professional athlete, you control who you sign with. If you become a pro, you can control who make money with you. You can control who makes money with you. And Alan Branch said, "Look, Robert, I've been going in these gyms and walking in these gyms all over Texas. People get mad at me, but I said this is a black man's game and a white man's business," and folks got mad. I go to the gyms. I don't go no more, but when you go in the gym, when you go to Ruck on the Wood, tell me how many black families and black people you see in there. But y'all sit there and nurture this talent and do this talent and nurture them and take them to eat and do everything with them. And then the next thing you know, when they're able to be put in a position to help you and help you back in your community, he goes sign with somebody, white guy, go sign with Rob Pelinka. He'll go sign with Bob Myers. That's something you can control, black parents also. A lot of people don't like to do it because that's my industry. I'm going to talk about it. Jimmy, you talk about your industry. You have a passion about your industry. I have a passion about this industry. You have a choice, ladies and gentlemen, and it starts when they're young. You just let anybody call your house and let your son play on my team. I'll come pick him up. Don't even know you. Y'all better start taking control. The worst thing about power is understanding you got it and not understanding you got it. It just won't even use it. Like them boys did yesterday. Yes, they didn't do this. No, they didn't do this. But them young boys, them 12 to 13 young men, I'm not calling them boys, I'm sorry, the Milwaukee Bucks shut down a multi-billion-dollar business yesterday. 13 of them. That's the power we have. Y'all was worried about Lou Williams getting it shut down, bringing it back from the strip club. Them youngsters at the spur of the moment. As Jimmy said, they was in there warming up. But everybody went out there warming up. Somebody was in there saying, when the guys came back in and said, "Man, we ain't going to do this thing. We just not going to do it. We're going to sit in here." They stayed in there for 3 hours. So, you got more power than you think, my people. Even in this Facebook feed, even in this basketball community, we have a lot more power than you think you have. Parents, y'all got power. That's it.
Yeah. So, guys, don't let this slide. Should he get a life sentence? I'm not here to say that. Maybe not. but he got to do time. Think of it like that. He don't get probation for that comment. He got to do time. And time heals all wounds. So, how much time he got to do time. And that's the thing that I'm rallying you guys understand. That don't work. That don't work. Sent that apology. And somebody said on the feed, that was his publicist said that. I mean, probably so. And then what he's going to do is he's probably going to go to most of the black people that he thinks it has influence. He rely on them. He's going to contact them and send them a, hey, I apologize. I wasn't in my right mind. And that's how they do. They'll go back and they'll contact their main black allies to try to keep things calm. Because if they lose, those are the ones that they talk about and say, well, some of my best friends is black. I got plenty of black friends. I got guys down in Houston, Dallas. So they'll call those guys just to try to make sure everything all right. Don't you fall for that. You know what your response will be? Man, I ain't got nothing to do with that. Got nothing to do with that. I'll talk with you in a couple of weeks, man. You're not going to use you as the crutch to make it seem like, well, I talked to Hatter. He had no problem with it. He understood. So should you. That's how they do. This apology doesn't give them no greater understanding about us. Remember I said, those conversations, no matter what, they're going to have to be had. If you have allies, especially economic allies, or economic people you consider a buddy or a friend or an associate, and they're of a different color. You want to have a conversation. You can't avoid it. The longer you not have it, the more you're gonna be stunned when the rubber meets the road.
Jimmy, it ain't holding no grudge, because some people talk about holding grudge. No, you got a right to do your. See, we the most forgiving people in the world. Like somebody said, they can just shoot you, and we're gonna pray for you. They can shoot you 9 people in a church, and the people go pray for a Dylan Roof. But like you said, there's consequences with your actions, bro. I ain't trying to be in no cancel culture, but guess what? If we got a Courtney Dion, we got an Alan Branch, and we got somebody, Jeffrey Day, let's support them.
Yes.
Hold up. Hold up, the school might have a white coach, right? But on those teams got black kids, and then black kids
majority
got black parents.
And now we go.
So parents, you got this stuff. I told you, Jimmy, I told you the story. The reason I wanted my son to go to Cornell over any one of them other schools, they had a black head coach and a black associate head coach. Yes. Bill Courtney and Marlon Sears. Yes. I had a choice, ladies and gentlemen. Could have chose somewhere else. When we are in a position to make, y'all, we don't get in these positions that long. We're not always, we can't make it. Man, when we're in a position of power, whenever you're blessed enough to be in a position of power, you got a choice on who cuts your yard, who cleans your house, who fix your air conditioner. You have a choice. I don't want to hear what I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know this. When you want something, you go seek it. You seek, and you shall find. But Jimmy, oh man, we done went over time. What you got? That was it.
Time, and so and we it's time to land the plane, guys. And we'll just spread the word. A lot of people out there in our communities playing junior college ball. Spread the word, because once those kids get there, they don't have no control over the schedule, but you have influence right now because no schedule's been made for no JUCO events, and that there's an alternate event, and we can collectively ensure Remember, in Texas, we're one of the junior college capitals of the country. You know, we have Region 14, Region 5. We have more junior colleges. California, maybe it's the only other state that has more JUCOs than us. Then Florida is right there behind that. I mean, so we have to, let's not let this ball slip away, because you know what's going to happen? Next thing you know, that guy, he didn't get to where he is being done.
No.
So know what he's doing about on weekend? He's going to be calling every junior college coach he know to ensure that they are still committed to his events. So that means now you got to act fast.
And Jimmy?
Courtney Brooks, you got to get your date together, and so you can get to those same coaches, and guess what? And find out how much they paying to go there, and you that way you know what the market is, and let's put you on the block. Jeffrey Day, get your January stuff, get it. You got to move fast. That guy's moving right now. Trying to keep his money. For real. And so anyway, that's pretty much it. But then don't forget that you know, breaking news on the NBA side, they still have this meeting with the owners coming up shortly this afternoon, and Michael Jordan has anointed himself as the liaison for the players. He reached out to Chris Paul, and now he's going to be that buffer, because you know a lot of the owners are kind of pissed. You know,
Jimmy, wouldn't you be pissed? Wouldn't you be pissed? I mean, for real. I mean, take all the players, you being black, put yourself in the owner's position. Take yourself out of Jimmy. Wouldn't you be pissed? Whatever y'all ask me for, we try to do.
But the Milwaukee Bucks owner's not pissed. So that's what.
I said you. Man, okay, you don't want to answer. Just say you don't want to answer the question.
In this situation, no, I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be. You know, because you ain't really cost me. Now you made your stance. Now, if they would have kept going, Howard, then you'd be busy. If they'd have kept going, not come back.
You didn't cost me nothing.
Yeah.
I'm talking to my advertisers last night. They had to play. Just lucky I like the movie. They the longest yard. So the longest yard. I got to watch the longest yard. My advertisers. How many people gonna watch the longest yard?
Adam, those games are made up. They just pushing those games to another day. Those same advertising slots, they gonna run them.
Dude,
they gonna run them.
Let me tell you something.
They gonna get that.
If you my partner in business, and you go do something like that without consulting with me, I'm gonna have a problem with your ass now. If you my partner in business,
that's in business when it comes to protesting. Guess what? There's going to be casualties.
Business partner. You ain't got to be my friend. But if you my business partner, you getting 50%, I'm getting 50%, and you go do something to damage the whole 100%, I'm going to have a problem with you. That's just common sense. You're nicer. I'm not like you.
Guess what? You're going to have a problem with me unless you're going to get enough money to make you not happy, not upset no more.
Oh, get some more money, we back all right.
So guess what you're going to do? You don't get your money back out of me. Collective bargaining agreement expires in November.
But that don't stop me from being mad at you.
It could,
Shit, me.
Okay.
I can be mad until I get the money.
Unless now I'm saying you're going to offer. You're going to offer for the get.
Can I get mad until I get the money? Can I be mad until I get the money?
Well, guess what? You're going to get your money. The owners always do.
But I want to.
One way or another, the owners always going to get their money.
Okay.
You're going to get it.
Okay.
You know that. So we got to give it a let it play, man. Get up out of here. Hey, good show today, guys. And Michael Johnson, TNT should have turned it on Malcolm X instead of something. So, yeah, man, that'll be going too. Don't be going too deep now. Yeah, but anyway, man, thanks a bunch, man, for everybody tuning in. Make sure you share the show to your timelines and your friends. And we appreciate it. We'll be back on Monday with another week of great guests and great dialogue. But meanwhile, this weekend, send us an email if you have something for our mailbag to get into. A lot of stuff I got sitting over here, I didn't even get into in the mailbag, a lot of these things. I see the email people send, chopshophtx@gmail.com, chopshophtx@gmail.com. And you guys make sure you keep us posted, and we will do the same. We love you guys, man. Thanks so much. I see Big Doug Jones made it back in Port Arthur. The house has been unbothered by the. And Fat Cat back on down to Port Arthur. We'll see you guys on Monday, man. It's time to slide on down Dino's back and yabba dabba do this thing. For Robert Hatter, I'm Jim Hicks, and we up out here. Peace. Chop chop.
Jim Hicks, Rob Hatter, you are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro, let's get it. We in the Chop Shop, we live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop, I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up, it's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop, we live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk, we live in the Chop Shop.